right, guys. So we are back at our podcast, and today we actually have a really neat topic that I think we can all have a lot of conversation around. So, what do you think of when you hear the word commitment? That's a heavy word.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah,
Very
that's a
interesting.
heavy
Exactly.
word.
So, what do you think when you hear commitment?
Something I have to do, like something I need to go do right now.
Exactly.
Something I have to keep a promise to.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna go with the answer there too. You know, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You can't just like.
And I feel like I say commitment, and I already feel pressured.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
For
yes.
Especially nowadays, I feel like people, when they hear the word commitment, they're like, I don't know about that.
Well, it can mean a lot of things though, like gym, like school, work,
So,
and everything.
All right, raise your hand if you're committed to the gym right now.
Me, I'm committed to the
I
gym.
I just started.
I'm gaining
Let's hope.
commitment.
Okay,
I
okay,
keep
me
it.
too. I'm with you. I run from gym commitment, but I am trying to. But I don't know if you've already entered that stage that, you're busy with, school, you're busy with, work, if you're working, and then you commit to doing something with your friends, and then you're like stuck in between. Oh, like I'm committed to going, but you kind of want to stay home and catch up. Like, has that happened to you?
Yeah. like-
Yeah. There's been plenty of times where I'm not in school right now. I'm about to go back to school, but when I was in real estate school, it was difficult because you one day is studying and the next day you take the test on.
Yeah.
Like it's just a 2 day. It's a 2 day course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there were times where my friends would invite me, and I'm just like, I want to go hang out with you and everything, but I got to test the next day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like it's like you want to go, but
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
So
And it's funny because I feel like we all commit a lot of times to too many things. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'll hang out with you, Ricky. Yes, I'll help you with that, Deandra. For sure, I'm going to be there, Leah. And then you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like I committed to so many things and I can't,
I feel like for me, I've experienced the commitment like in the church in the sense of like ministries. So
Okay.
like not only with the youth, but I used to serve at the kids and stuff. And I feel like it really got down to a choice of making a commitment, positive or negative.
Yeah.
Me and Nana were having a conversation the other day, and it kind of mentioned that. And sometimes it's a choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice to make something positive or to make something negative. And I
Yeah.
think commitment can go both ways.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring the conversation to. What would you define commitment as that doesn't imply this negative, heavy pressure?
I think it all comes with the decision, your choice. If you're going to be committed to going somewhere, your mind, you have to make sure it's there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be at that commitment and be there, but your mind and just you being there in the moment of making that commitment, if you don't do that, you're not really there and you're
Yeah.
not really, like, doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I loved when we talked about the definition of commitment and the twist on defining commitment as devotion and dedication.
Yes.
I think that when we spin it that way, it takes a whole new meaning. But the only way it can take that meaning is when we understand how to commit, maybe, directly to God or be devoting ourselves to Him.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, sometimes when it comes to your commitment with God, you're thinking, how am I going to find the time? How am I going to find just that place where I can have this commitment to God and be all in, have my mind in, my heart in, and then, but still like wondering what time am I going to do this if I have work, if I have school, if I have, I don't know, maybe you have kids or people you need to take care of.
Yeah.
It's putting that priority and choosing that devotion instead of choosing it as a burden, you know?
I think it's also remembering why you committed in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's not an easy decision that people take. Maybe in stuff like going out with your friends and stuff. But when it comes to major things like a job or school or certain other things that are big commitments in your life, you did them because of something strong, because of God, because of love, because of success. You know what I mean? These
Yeah.
powerful things that you connect
That you connect to that commitment.
Yes. I think I forgot the word commitment for like 3 seconds. It would not come in my head. But I think it's remembering why you committed in the first
Yeah.
place.
Exactly.
I'm going to read something real quick to you guys, and it's Colossians 3:23-24, and it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." So when I hear this, you hear, and we hear it all the time, right? When you come maybe to church or to service, you're like, okay, so whatever I do, I work at it with all my heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. So then you think, this should fix my problem with commitment. This should fix my bitterness when I can't make it to everything. This should fix my anger when I'm like feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. But it doesn't. And I think the root a lot of times of not being able to fix that, it's because we don't understand what committing for the Lord looks like.
I feel that.
I really feel like that's where it bases off of. If you know and you have that time with the Lord, you can like translate that into every area of your life and every commitment. And then because you're basing it off of the Lord and having that relationship with him and taking that time to be with him, you'll find that all the other commitments you have in your life no longer seem as burdens, but as something positive. And you'll see that every single thing that you do, every commitment, every at job or at school, you're going to do it with a different attitude, you know?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Rick is like inspired. Like I'm gonna add to this.
What I could add is, a little story time with Ricky over here.
Story time with Ricky. I like that. That can be an episode.
Yeah.
It
flowed
through. When I wasn't committed fully all the time. I lost like touch with God a while ago, but when 2 years ago I got committed again and I started coming back. When I started doing that, going back to God, it made a huge impact in my life. It made me want to do more things and made me realize a lot of things that I need to do to make myself a better person.
Yeah.
So I understand what Deandra's saying because it's true. What she's saying is true because it does impact you a lot. It really hits you hard.
Yeah.
When you get
So
closer.
what you're telling me is that when you committed back to God, when you devoted yourself to spending time with him, it made you realize all these other things that you wanted to work in and do for others, right? And that's the second point of what we wanted to talk about today, which was, committing to God, but also committing ourselves to serving others, right? Because that's kind of what we're here for, right? We want to be the light of the world, but how are we going to be that light if we're not touching others, right? If we're not making ourselves available for others. But we cannot make ourselves available to others if we don't, if we're not guided by God, right? If we don't learn, if we don't learn to be devoted to him, our service to others becomes this iffy, service because eventually we get drained. But when we understand, right, that it comes from God for us to be of impact to others, it just changes our mentality. It changes our heart and our desire, like you shared, yourself.
It's like that verse in the Bible. I don't know exactly the part in the Bible, but it's the
Well, let's just hope it's Bible you're about.
It is. When it says that when you drink from like a normal fountain or a normal water, you'll thirst again. But when you drink from the fountain of God, you'll never thirst again. I feel like it's the same thing when it comes to commitment. You can apply that when you commit to God. When you don't commit to a person, to a thing, to a ministry, to a church, to this, but you commit to God, I feel like you'll never lose supply to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Exactly.
I feel like when you commit to the wrong thing, it kind of like goes crazy.
And if you do come to that time where you feel like a little bit dried up, because it happens, you know which fountain you can drink from.
There you go.
Know?
There you
So
go.
it's
She was ready for that one too. She was
Were
ready
you
for that
saving
one.
this point? Like, were you like,
She's
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
keep it in my pocket?
let me get the right moment, and I'm about to
right here.
let these people know.
Mic drop.
Y'all are embarrassing me. Stop making me blush. I'm joking. But yeah, like you know where it's coming from. Like you're no longer looking for where you can find that motivation to stay committed, but you know exactly who to go to,
Yeah,
where
I
to
agree.
go, you know?
Yes.
And
So my fulfillment won't be my job or
yeah,
my
like,
significant other.
no, because guess what? Those people, they're not perfect. They need fountains to drink
Yeah.
from too.
Yeah.
I
And
think
so, go for it.
Sorry. I think it's really important to remember that because people disappoint.
Exactly.
People disappoint in every type of sense and every type of matter. Even if you don't want it to, it will. But when you remember that you're doing something for the right reasons, for the right purpose in your heart, anything that anybody else does, because a lot of times people don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's human. Everybody has a certain way of doing things and this and that. And then sometimes you're like, but
It'd be like
doing?
that.
Oh, like,
It
y'all
really
can't-
be like
y'all
that.
couldn't-
It really be like that.
no, y'all couldn't see the
What
face.
you
Y'all couldn't see
doing?
the face. No, but and especially when I felt that a lot when leaders started changing when I was in the kids. You feel it a lot when you change because you're used to somebody that does it a certain way and then boom, it knocks you out and it's like, okay, this is a whole new setup. Do it like this now.
And remember, commitment just doesn't mean like committed to these certain things. It means no matter what's going on, I'ma stand firm to
Yeah.
Yeah.
this, to this commitment, to this relationship or to this job or to this. That's really what commitment is. It's not
Yeah.
that's gonna stay the
Yeah.
same. So it's good that you like touched on that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's you have to remember again. I think it's committing not to a person, but to God. Because if
Yeah.
I was committed to a person, I would have been I don't know where.
And I think as youth, learning that principle, right, of where our commitment derives from, right, helps us not be the a lot of times youth is known for that instability, right?
Yeah.
Like they're unstable, they're not committed. They you can't count on them. They're young. You hear that, right? Oh, they're young.
Yeah, all the
can't
time.
count
All
on
the
them.
time.
Right? They're
Yeah.
no, they're not we avoid that when we know, right, the source, when we know where our heart needs to be committed first, right? Because we don't become that part of that statistic that lacks commitment.
Yeah.
That avoids or runs from devotion. And that's kind of what our road is, right? We want to
Yeah.
grow to be better personally, better with God, obviously, and better for others.
For sure.
And talking about these topics that we all struggle with, right? I'd be lying if I said I've always aced commitment. Like, everyone can 110% count on Perla. Like, we totally be lying here. We
Yeah.
all fall short, right?
Yeah.
But when we look for ways to better ourselves by drinking from the right fountain, right, we can become that light, truly, that people can be drawn to and actually know they can depend on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, this was definitely a topic for me to go back and re-listen to because you guys have really dropped some fire. And so we hope that it also helped
Drop the
you.
mic.
We hope that, if you were driving listening to us, if you were eating listening to us, if you just woke up, we hope you also were able to grasp some of these truths, right? And know that you are not alone.
Be
Yes.
committed.
All right,
Adios.
bye. See you guys next week.
For more of this podcast, follow us on Instagram at Grace Youth Espanol and at Young and Heard.